So this is the Absorb Learning Management System that Martech uses, and this is the main user login, and there are two different login pages. There's a main user login, and then there is an administrator login. The administrator login has a gray background, and if you log in through the admin panel or the admin login, it'll take you directly into the admin area.
Where did you get
log
that?
in? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where was that second login at?
It's martech.myabsorb.com/admin, and you don't have to have either one of those memorized necessarily. I mean, through the main login, which is martech.myabsorb.com, you can get to each portal no matter how you log in. But what I wanted to point out is that if you do not have admin rights, you would not be able to log into this page.
Okay.
So most users are going to be logging in through this page, and this is a page that I'll log into for the training. I do want to point out that there is a forgot password link on the main login page, and there's a forgot password link on the admin login page. So if anyone forgets their password, they can just click forgot password and enter their username. And Jeannie is saying that you do have 25 seats. So you do have about 7 or 8 more seats left. So, so I was saying you enter the username or the email address and click reset password, and it will send you a link to allow the user to reset their password. And the login or the username and the email address is going to be the same. So if I click login, this is going to take me to the welcome page of the learner side. We have your logo in here, and so any training that has been assigned to the user is going to appear in the My Courses row. Any training that has been started but has not been completed will show up on the resume row. And the third row is all the courses that the user has access to self-enroll. And you can get into each one of these pages by clicking on the title. For example, if I click the catalog title, it'll take me to the catalog. And all of the courses that are in the catalog that I can enroll into will be displayed. If I need to search for something such as safety, I can enter that keyword, and all of the safety courses will show up, or all of the courses that have safety in the title. And on the right, we have similar options. We have messages that's going to display any messages that are sent in the system. The dashboard will take us back to the main page. My Courses is going to be, like I said, courses that I have started but have not, or courses that I'm enrolled into. Catalog will have all the courses that are available for self-enrollment. And then there's resources, so if there's any type of resource documents that you want to load to the system, the user would find those on the resources page. Calendar is going to allow a user to look at training that has a due date associated with it. So for example, this piece of training that I'm assigned, I know it's due on the 2nd of November. And if I click that, it'll show me the training title, and then I can resume the training. Transcript is going to show all my training that's been assigned, and also completed. It's going to show pretty much an overview of all my training, and I can print my transcript if I want.
These are all to all users here, what you're going through so far, not just admin. Okay.
Right, this is all users, including admin. The only difference is between regular users and admin, administrators will have an admin link in this dropdown. And that's how you'll access the admin side.
Okay.
A couple other things I want to touch on. It's the profile. You can reach the profile page by clicking this link, and the user can edit certain things in their profile, such as middle name, phone number, their address. There are certain things that they cannot edit, such as their email address and first and last name. They can also change their password on this page. So if they click change password, it'll allow them to update their current password. And whenever a user initially logs in, they're going to have to reset their password. So any password that an administrator sets for a user is going to be a temporary password. And I'll show you how to reset passwords for other users. So if you click on the logo, it'll take you back to the main page. And the statuses for the courses, this is set to enroll, which means that as of yet, I have not been enrolled into this course. So if I click enroll, it will automatically enroll me, and then click start, and it'll take me to the course details page. Now, there is an option whenever you are creating training content to add a resource to that training. So if you did add a resource to that training, it would show up on this page. And it would have, I think it's a link over here where there would be a link to download the resource or view the resource. So from the training detail page, I can click start, and this will open the training. It opens in a pop-up. So a user would need to allow pop-ups whenever training first opens. So if I close this, the button's going to change to resume. So basically that means that I've started the course, but I have not completed the course. Now this has been added to my courses, and it's also been added to the resume courses. Now whenever you assign training to a user, the most recently assigned training is going to appear first. So that's going to appear on the left on my courses. I click on my courses, then it is going to appear on the top left. And any training that has a due date associated with it is going to have this little clock icon in the top left, and it'll show the due date. So any questions about the user side?
Intuitive. No question.
Moving on to the, go ahead.
One question.
Yes,
I had one question on, I've taken a course, I got a passing grade, and it stays in my courses, I guess. You can hit retake again and just take the same test again, because it wipes out the first one then, correct?
Well, it doesn't wipe it out. It just allows you to have a new occurrence of that training. Okay. So you can complete training as many times as you want. Users have a license, or you have a license of 1 year for all of our training, okay. Or for at least of 1 year. So the user can take as many courses and as many times as they want during that year.
Okay,
and
you're not limited on that.
I'm sorry?
You're not limited on that at all, just the time on it.
Yeah, and once a user completes a training, there's a search option at the top here, and you can search for a course number, you can search for a keyword, and for example, if I enroll into this course and click start, going to advance to the exam, start test, and I'll pass this test and I'll show you what it looks like, just for the other people who haven't completed one yet. So it does give you an immediate response. And if you get something wrong, and you get this one wrong, it'll show what's incorrect, but it will not show you what the correct response is.
You've taken this test before, I take it?
No, I've never taken it before. Just kidding.
Good.
It looks pretty easy.
I know my PPE, yeah,
So do you have anything that comes back and say, hey, you might want to study what you missed, or
no, we do not have anything like that.
that would be a lot.
There's an IWAS station. I'm going to fail this.
That wouldn't be anything different than us taking it then.
No, didn't get it. Okay. Anyway, it will show, it will have an option to re-enroll into the training, and then the user can just click re-enroll, and it'll enter them into a new enrollment. And then you can view that user's transcript and see the training that they've completed more than one time.
So it does keep track of how many times they took it?
Yes.
Okay.
So a user is only going to be able to see the training that they completed, their most recent completion, but as an administrator, you can see the training you can see all the training that they have completed for all of the occurrences of that training. So going over to the admin area, click on admin. This will take me to the admin area. Here's a button to take me back to the learner side. So it's pretty simple to get back and forth between the two areas as an administrator. And first thing that you see whenever you log into the admin side are your dashboards. And there are 3 different types of dashboards. There's an overview dashboard, and this has your name and information, reports that have been generated, your saved reports, any messages that you have in the system. And then we have the learner dashboard. This is going to show how many learners, how many active learners you have in the system, who are your top learners. Right now it's Joshua Richardson, and he has 5 courses completed. Looks like Steve Walker has 5 courses completed as well. And shows you your learner time over these days. So it looks like on 9/26, there was 310 minutes spent within the system from your users. And this is going to show the 10 most recent completions. So this is just an overview of information. And click on this, and it will expand that information. It'll take me to the learner activity report. And then we have a course dashboard. This is going to show the top courses that are being taken. We have new courses created. And then we can also see top courses by time spent. People are spending the most time in 30104. So, and to get back to the main dashboard, you just have to click the icon in the top left, and it'll take you back to the main dashboard. And just to review some of the navigation options within this admin area, we have courses on the left, users, and reports. Those are going to be the main areas that we'll focus on. We have an actions drop down on the right, which this will change depending on what page you're on. So this, on the courses page, we have action items that are specific to courses. If I click on the users page, Then we have action items that are specific to users. And on the reporting page, this is going to have information specific to course to reporting. So one thing I want to point out is all of the pages are laid out very similarly. So it's a basic report layout. So whenever you're looking at the courses page, essentially you're viewing a report of the courses. And the same with the user page. This is a report of the users. So let me get rid of this report. So within these pages, you have the ability to add columns to the report. So you can see what date a user was added to the system. For example, you have all of these items that you can add to this report layout.
My screen had gone blank. Well, how did you get to this menu right here?
It's in this little display columns menu. And that'll display the columns in the report. It'll add columns to the report, or you can remove columns from the report. And let's see, there's one for logins, for last logged in, or number of logins. So we can see how many times the user is logged in. So, and if we want to filter certain data within the report, we have these filter items, or these filter icons that are associated with each column. So if I add a filter, if I click this filter icon, it's going to have this department filter show up. And if I want to filter everyone in relay construction, I can click add filter. And now it's only showing people in relay construction. And if you want to edit the filter, you can just click on the filter and it will allow you to edit that. And now this is showing everyone in relay maintenance. To remove a filter, you just click this X or the trash can to remove all. If you want to save a report, you click this report layout, and I'm going to add a new report, and we'll call this City Austin Users. And then if you want this report to be your default layout, then you click this star, and that will make that report the default layout for this page. And then if I go back to my dashboard, this is in my saved reports. So if I just click this report, it'll take me to that page, and it has the same layout that I created before. I can also share this report with other users that are in a group, and I'll show you how to create a group. We can automate this report, so it's emailed at a certain time. You can actually automate all of the reports. So any of the reports are going to have the same functionality as this report. So if it's a training report, you can set this to run, let's say, on a monthly basis. Then enter your email addresses for users that you want to receive the report, or you can send it to a group. And we define the format as Excel or CSV. We can print this report, and we can also export it to Excel. I click generate, it's going to generate the report. If So this is the report that I generated. So like I said, that's going to be with all of the pages, the users, the training, courses. So over on the users page, I want to show you some of the options that we have for managing user information. We have individual actions, and the individual actions will show up as actions on the right. If I select more than one user, the actions are going to change. And for example, messages will allow me to send a message to the users. Shouldn't use activate or deactivate users unless you are deactivating users in the system. So if you have a user that leaves, you can log in and deactivate that user. And you also have the ability to add new users to the system. But you want to make sure that you don't have more than 25 users at a time, since it is what your contract is. If you wanted to move users to another department, so for example, this user is in relay maintenance, and this user's in relay maintenance as well, I can click change department, and I can select which department I want to move them to. So if I wanted to move them to relay construction, I click relay construction and click accept, and it'll move their department. Reset password is if you want to send a reset password email to these users, this is how you would send that email. And you can add other users to this by just clicking on add, and the users will be displayed. And we also have the option to send a new user message. So this would be a message that if the user's never logged into the system before and they're like, hey, what is my login information? Then you can select send new user message, click send, and it will send them an email with their login information. So if you have more than one user selected, you can select all the users that you want if you want to create a group, and then you can click create group. And that will open up, and then you create a group name. I recommend using something to identify your department. Like ATX is what I've used for your training. Now I'm not going to create this group, but for example, I went to manage groups. You'll see all of the groups are in the system. There isn't a way to distinguish which groups belong to which department. It's a universal group. You wouldn't be able to see what users are in a group. You would just see the group name. So you would only be able to see the groups that you, or the users within a group, if you have rights to see those users. So if I click view users on this, I'm not going to see any users within that group. But my point is, whenever you're creating groups, you want to create something that you know is yours. So for example, if you create a management group, chances are somebody else might have a management group as well. So if you don't have an identifier that is specific to your group, then there might be some confusion when you're going to find which group is yours. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That, like the naming, like what you name, or
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
oh, I'm sorry, closer to the mic. So would the confusion be in but not so much the naming of the group? That's not what causes the confusion, but I guess just repeat what would cause the confusion again, because we're going to have to create.
Well, if you have, we have several clients in the system. We have like over 2,000 users in the system. And so if you use a very simple name such as the construction group or maintenance group, chances are, since we're dealing with power generation, there might be other companies that are using maintenance group as well. So if you don't have something to identify like maintenance-ATX or maintenance-Austin or something to make yours unique, you might get lost in
I got you.
in the shuffle.
So is the group different from department name, or is department?
Yes, the City of Austin is the department, and then any sub-departments would be created under City of Austin. And those would be ways those would probably be the best way to organize your users if you want certain management rights. So if you have an administrator and you only want that administrator to be able to manage the relay maintenance users, then you would make that administrator, you would limit them to that department. There's not really another way to limit the rights of an administrator except on a department level. A group would be something, let's say if you have a user, they have a group of users and they don't really fit within any specific category, because we have some that have a couple of different job titles and they work with different departments, but maybe they were hired about the same time and they're going to go through training together, and you want to manage them in a group. You can click create group, and you could say ATX October 2019 hires. That way you can run reports on that group, you can assign training to that group, you can also create automatic reporting for that group. Another thing you can do is for administrators, I'm going to add an administrator filter. So I can click all of these users and I'll create new group, and we'll call this ATX admins. Click save. And now we have an ATX admin group. And so if I go over to users and create a report, let's say I want to share this report with all of the ATX admins, click save. Now anyone that's in that group is going to have access to this report. So each one of you should now have access to the City of Austin users report whenever you log in and come to this page. If you just click on this, it will show you the list of reports that you have available. So in terms of editing individual information for users, if you click on an individual, you can edit their personal information, and you can also change their department here. If it's just an individual user, this is where you would update the department. There's certain details available. Account, this is where you would make someone an administrator or change their admin rights. So if you were going to create an administrator, you do have to select a department to specify which department they are going to be an administrator for. And then you have to select the role. And right now we have department administrators would be what you would select. And you would see that this user would have rights to, or admin rights for 7 users. So I'm going to uncheck this. Cancel out of that.
Can we add a department, or do you guys have to add a department?
You can add a department. If you come over to users, there is a departments option, and this will show you your departments.
Oh, excellent.
So to add a department, you just click the Add New Action button over here, or you can click this option right here. So, going back to the main user page, let's see if there's anything else I want to cover. So if you want to view a user's transcript, we select the user, click View Transcript, and this will take us to the user's transcript, and it'll show the training that they've completed. If I click on this training, all of the completions will appear down here at the bottom. So if a user has completed this 5 times, then this is the page that those completions is going to show up on. So going to, let me go back. If I want to edit a user's information or their completions, I can click View Transcript or User Transcript, and I can mark a user complete, say this training is in progress. So if I click on that, I can change this to a completed status, give them a passing score of whatever I want, and click Save, and now the user has been updated to a completed status. If I go back to the transcript, now the training is showing up as complete. If I want to view all the enrollments, actually let me go back. If you want to select a user, you can view enrollments as well. And view enrollments will take you to a report page, so you can view additional information just a little bit differently than if you were to view the user's transcript. And this is where you would enroll a user into training or unenroll the user in training. So if I wanted to remove this enrollment, then I would select the training and click unenroll. If I want to edit an enrollment, or let's say, let me deselect this, click enrollment, and then I can enroll that user into other training. Just click Add Courses, and it will let me select the courses. So a couple things I want to show you in reference to adding training or assigning training to your users. There's a couple of different ways. And if we select the users that we want to assign training to, and then click Enroll Users, it's going to allow us to select courses to enroll the users into. So all of these are grouped by category, and you want to select the City of Austin category. And one thing that I want to caution you on, a very strong word of caution, do not check this checkbox next to City of Austin. If you click the checkbox next to City of Austin, it's going to automatically select all about 550 or 560 courses, which will slow down the system.
Oh.
So you want to click this arrow, which will open up the menu, and then you can select individual courses. You can also search for keywords at the top.
This is just preventing people from having to use the catalog when they first log in then?
Well, this is, right, this is going to assign training to a user. So it's going to appear on My Courses.
Like when Wesley comes in, you say, hey, I want you to take these courses. So you just go click, 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 take all these, and probably emails it to them.
Yeah, there's another way that you can assign training. If you go to the courses page, and you can select all of the courses that you want to assign, and click Enroll Users, and then you select your users that you want to enroll into the training. So looking at the courses page, do we have a hard stop at 10 a.m.?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not me.
Okay. So if I go a few minutes, I may go a few minutes over. I do want to show you how to create a curriculum because I feel like that would be very helpful for you. Actually, I do have a hard stop at 10. Actually, I have another meeting. So anyway, looking at the training details, if I click an individual training item, you should not have to edit any of the online courses. Actually, I would recommend not editing any of this data. Syllabus is going to be the training content. Availability is going to define who is available to take this training. Self-enrollment is going to allow this training to appear in the course catalog, so a user can enroll themselves. If allow self-enrollment was not selected, then this would not show up in the catalog. Completion is going to allow the user to automatically re-enroll. If we wanted to limit that and say where the user had to wait at least a month, then this is where we would set that. Messages are turned off for the individual courses, just because if you created a curriculum with 10 courses and you assign that curriculum to the users, then they would receive 10 emails, and we wouldn't want to trigger all those emails in the system. Resources I mentioned earlier, if you have an attachment that you wanted to associate with the course, this is where you would add that attachment. And uploads is probably not something that you would use, but if, for example, a user needed to prove some type of identity or something, you could require that they set up an upload where they would have to upload some sort of documentation. And more is just additional settings like terms and conditions and ratings and evaluations. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And I do want to show you how to create a curriculum. So to create a curriculum, there's a couple of different ways we can, let me click deselect to unselect this training. These are the options for things that we can create. We can create a new online course or import a course. We can also create instructor-led courses for classroom events. And a course bundle is just a group of training that you're assigning. It doesn't have the, it's not as user-friendly as a curriculum. A curriculum is going to allow you to run specific reports on the curriculum. So let me go ahead and jump into building a curriculum. So if we click curriculum, let me cancel and go back to that page. This is the actions menu. So if I want to add a curriculum, I can click curriculum here, or I can click curriculum here. It's the same actions. So I'm going to call this, call it basic safety. Then you had to select a category. You had to select City of Austin. And that's pretty much all you have to select for this page. If you want to add something like ATX, then you can do that as well as part of an identifier. You should only be able to see the courses that you have created. So it's not required that you add ATX, especially if you have the category selected, but you definitely should select category City of Austin. That way, whenever you're assigning the training, it will show up in your drop-down whenever you open City of Austin. Courses is where we'll build the curriculum, and we can build the curriculum into several different sections or groups. And I'm going to create 2 groups for this example. And I'm going to call this safety, and I'm going to call this tool safety. Actually, we'll call this safety equipment. And then if I click Add Courses, you see it's the same dialog that opened up before. And I'll select a couple of courses. And my tool safety, I'll select some courses here too. So that's pretty much all you have to do to set up the grouping within a curriculum. You do have some options where you can set the progress. So if you click paste progress, then a user will have to complete this section before they can complete this section. And you can also change the minimum number of courses. So if I select this and change this to a 2, then a user would have to complete 2 of these courses before they can complete these courses. And availability, if you want to allow users to self-enroll into the training, then you do need to select allow self-enrollment. And then we would select the department. And we can select this, if for example, this is just construction, relay construction, then only users in relay construction would be able to enroll into this training. But this will allow it to appear on their catalog. If you want to automatically enroll users into this training, let's say we set department City of Austin, then anytime a user is added to the system, they'll automatically be enrolled into this training. And once you click save, it's going to automatically enroll the user as well. And you can set a due date, you can set an expiration. In terms of department visibility for editing, we want to set this to at least City of Austin. But if you want to limit this where only to include sub-departments, then the departments that are under City of Austin will be able to view this as well. And so this is going to, by setting the admin information down at the bottom, it's going to allow this to appear on the course listing. Whenever you are logged into the admin area, it'll appear on the course list page. And completion, this is where we would set allow re-enrollment. If you want to associate a certificate with this, this is where you would select the certificate. You would select the certificate from this list, and we have different options. Curriculum is not going to have a score associated with it, so you would want to select certificate, no expiry and no score if there's no expiration for the certificate. And you could also set this to expire, let's say in 1 year, and also define when the user would be enrolled. So a user could be re-enrolled, let's say 1 month before the certificate expires, and then they would automatically be re-enrolled into the certificate. And then I would need to, if it does have an expiration, I do want to set this with expiry and no score. And to show you what that would look like, preview the certificate. This will have the name and the name of the training. And messages, this is, by default, messages will be turned on. And this will send a message to the user whenever they have been enrolled and whenever they complete the training. And you also have the option to set up nudge emails, and this would set up reminders for the user. And then if you have any attachments that you want to attach to the training, you would use the resource tab and just click add resource and add the name, and then go to the file, be it a PDF or PowerPoint document. So do you have any questions about the setup of a curriculum?
not at this time. It's a lot of information.
Yeah, it is a lot. They do have resources in the bottom right, which is a tutorial. For example,
That's good.
how to create a curriculum. If you click how to create a curriculum, it'll walk you through that process of creating a curriculum.
Where did you find this little tab at?
The blue button at on the bottom right-hand corner of the page.
I think the skater will probably end up using that.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you some training documentation as well later today whenever I send the training video. And you can also call me if you need any help as well.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Dusty.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And your reporting is going to be on this tab. It's pretty easy to see based upon the titles. And for example, curricular activity, you would select the name of the curriculum. And right now there's no users that are enrolled. So we look at course activity, we can select a specific course, and we'll see that users that have completed this training are showing up in the list, and it shows their score. If I click on a user, I can view other information for the user if I want to see their enrollments, see what other courses a user has completed. The learner activity. This is an overview, and just like with all the other reports, you can change the columns within this report. So if I want to see credits earned, status, time spent, so there's a lot of information. You can also save this report. So if I click Create New Report, I can name this report, and I can also favorite that report if I wish. So just about out of time. So I will follow up with a training video that I will send you, basically the video that we covered, that I recorded today. I'll also send some additional training documentation. And but if there's any questions that you have about anything, please feel free to email me or call me. I'm more than happy to address your needs as they arise.
Okay.
Thank you, Dusty.